Blood it's a very important organ. Blood is all about oxygen transportation, it's about defense, immune system, bleeding control, among 100 other functions. Understanding hematology, it's important for the day-to-day medical activities. Blood is so important because it's just easily accessible tissue, a lot of information, and most of the information that we get from blood was established by Dr. Wintrobe for studies.
Max Wintrobe was born in Austria and came to North America with his parents as a young boy at age 6. They settled in Manitoba, Canada. By age 15, Max began attending the University of Manitoba. He received his medical degree there in 1926. This would begin a remarkable career in medicine that would see him become one of the most influential doctors in the study of hematology in the world.
At Wintrobe's time, there was no subspecialty of hematology. And somebody asked him to write a review article on diseases of the blood. And that began his expertise and broad expertise and national, perhaps international reputation in that discipline. And in 1942, he wrote single-handedly the first edition of Wintrobe's Clinical Hematology.
In a very literal sense, Dr. Wintrobe wrote the book on hematology. There are now 14 editions.
There was no discipline of hematology until Wintrobe came along.
My father, as it turns out, was a very important man, but I was just a child, and I didn't really know how important he was. I mean, he was just my father.
Dr. Wintrobe pioneered the entire practice of hematology and the science behind it, observing that there were no reliable normal blood values to use in clinical practice. He was the first to document statistically normal values in adults and children. After years as teaching faculty at the University of Tulane Medical School and Johns Hopkins University, Dr. Wintrobe was recruited to come to the University of Utah in 1943 as the first chair of medicine at the newly formed 4-year medical school. It didn't take long for him to set the tone.
He came from a school that kind of worked hard but played hard. It was very common, for example, that every Wednesday all fellows and faculty would go to ski. He would take them to ski to Alta. But those people that were to ski, they were supposed to come on Saturday and work full day. This is the culture that still prevails here in Utah. I think it's very hardworking, but also we enjoy the nature that is around us.
He did play, but his mind was always working and solving problems.
I think he worked in his head all the time. My father was always focused. He was always pretty serious.
He was extremely rigorous and in terms of the science and work, and that culture of excellence was something that he passed on to all the faculty and trainees, not only here, I have to say, but around the world.
When I'd see a crazy, rare case as a resident, I could always count on Wintrobe's textbook to have something on it. And that was really useful, to have some source that I knew I could always count on.
The understanding of blood is so fundamental to the human body and the practice of medicine. Much of what we know today can be attributed to Dr. Wintrobe's research and relentless drive to find answers. He officially retired in 1965, but continued his work until 1973. He died in 1986 at the age of 85 from heart failure. But his legacy lives on across the medical world, and his influence is still felt here at the University of Utah.